Rural Heritage on RFD TV is brought to you by Rural Heritage Magazine, a bi-monthly magazine featuring articles about farming and logging with draft animal power, small-scale diversified family farming and homesteading, and other aspects of our rich rural heritage. Rural Heritage Magazine, borrowing from yesterday to do the work of today. For subscription information, please call 319-362-3027 or order online at www.ruralheritage.com. In August 2018, a wagon train of teamsters and their horses, mules, and some ponies, accompanied by riders on mule and horseback, traveled from Buckhorn, Wyoming to Deadwood, South Dakota over 6 days, averaging between 12 to 15 miles a day. The trail wound through the high country of the west central Black Hills, following portions of the original Cheyenne to Deadwood stage routes and sections of the historic 1874 Custer Black Hills Expedition. Weather in the west central Black Hills high country can be unpredictable. On 2 mornings, trail ride participants were treated to sudden hailstorms, and on at least 1 morning there was ice formed on the outside of my tent. The route passed through pine and spruce forests with aspen and birch stands, mountain meadows with native grasses, and over clear mountain streams. Much of the time it traveled along seldom used forest roads, little more than paths, and often many of the outriders were unable to resist the urge to ride off trail into the beautiful countryside.
I've hunted and fished in this area a lot, and in my opinion, it's some of the prettiest part of the Black Hills. Those high meadows and streams and so forth, and I've hunted and fished there, knew the country, knew the roads, so I laid her out, with the knowledge that I had, and tried to get it to be between 12 and 15 miles a day, and we're doing about 85 miles total. But anyhow, what did we do, or how did we get started? Ellen asked me if the museum would support another ride, and then asked me where we should go, and I said we're going to go from, at that time, 4 Corners to Deadwood, but we actually ended up going from Buckhorn, Wyoming to Deadwood. I'm the president of the Days of 76 Museum, and we've sponsored, this will be our 6th one. We were involved on this end of the Fort Pierre to Deadwood one 10 years ago this month. And then we did Miles City to Deadwood. We've done split the Medora to Deadwood up into 2 halves, and we've done part of the Sydney to Deadwood Trail. Ellen, about a year ago, suggested we do another one, and I said if we do another one, I know where we should go, and we're trying to see or hit the Cheyenne to Deadwood stage routes. It wasn't the wagon trains, it was the stage routes. It wasn't bringing stuff, materials and lumber and food and everything into Deadwood. It was a stage route. And during the ride, we visited 3 of those stage stops. The other thing that was that just fit in was we also, for the first 2 days, followed the 1874 Custer Expedition route. That's when Custer came through and with 1,000 people, 1,000 soldiers and so forth, and they explored the Black Hills. They were in the Black Hills about 45 days, I believe, and they came through the same way that we did the first 2 days. We're trying to do what what they did back in the 1880s, late 70s, 80s.
My dad loved horses years ago, and then he had some health problems, so I thought I'd take him on a wagon train. So they had a little one out of Alvord, Iowa, and we did that. I just had an old plank wagon, and it was so hot, and he'd be about sick at the end of the day, but he would never say give. And anyway, so then I decided to build this. So I took the old granary apart and started building a cover wagon so Dad could be in out of the heat. And he died here a few years ago. And I said to Janelle, I said, that's really kind of pleasant. So now her and I have been doing it about the last 5 years. And I've always loved horses my whole life too, obviously. But
How many Percherons do you have at home?
no, we just got these
Just
two.
the pair?
Yep. Farm with them a little bit, rake some hay.
Okay.
Got a planter we plant just sweet corn with and stuff. And
Nice.
more or less just to use them so when you go on events like this, they're very sound.
Yep. Harden them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Quiet them down.
Yeah. Well, and they'll stand for 45 minutes and not move the wagon, you know.
How old are they?
That comes from farming with them.
Right. Yep. They learn to stand when they're tired.
Yep, they do.
They got wet collars.
Well, they know if they stand, they get to rest. And if
Yep.
they get the rest, they like to rest like anybody else, you know.
What are their names?
Jackson and Jefferson. They had stupid names when we got them, but I didn't like them, so I renamed them.
Yeah, we got them when they were a little over 3.
Okay. So they're both geldings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason that I do that is they're 7 now.
Oh, they're quieter.
Yeah.
They're better in
Yeah,
crowds of horses.
mares, when you want to go do something, then they might be in heat or something. So
If you're not breeding, it's just as well.
right. There's days like this couple behind us, you know, I'd like to raise some colts and get into some more of that. But
Buy them as a team then?
yeah.
They're really well matched. Are
Yes.
they related?
No, that's what we thought was very unique too.
Yeah, they're really well matched.
Yeah.
They're a handy size too.
And that's why we bought them this size. I really love the big Percherons, but we're getting a little older, and I thought for throwing the harness on, it's going to get to be more work. And this is a nice size for that. You can't believe how they'll dig in and pull you. My dad taught me, he said, when you want to break your team, he said, you always break them to walk up the hill because that's when it pulls the hardest. You break them to walk, and he says they'll be the best team you'll ever have. And he's right, because then you can make them walk anytime, because you used to pull them guys trot all the time just because they want to make it pull easier, you know. He said a horse is going to run if you let them go. They're going to want to run. It's just a natural instinct.
So the week's been going okay for you guys?
Very
Pretty
good.
much?
Yeah, we haven't had any mishaps yet.
No. Little hail on you, huh?
Oh yeah.
What's that?
Go ahead.
She got hailed on a couple times. First day we had hard hail.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I'm glad I missed
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
She was out in it. We were on the bus, so we got lucky.
Okay.
You know, delivering our stuff, and the horses had their heads down and their ears
Yeah.
pinned back. It was hurting.
I bet.
There was ice still laying on the ground when we got back, so it hailed hard.
Horses behaved? The horses didn't act up while it was hailing?
No, they just got all nervous and excited, but they
What
did
about
pretty
the other
good.
horses around you?
Did anybody have a runaway with them?
No, I don't think anybody had a runway. Everyone just had to hold on to them tight.
And sometimes it can make quite a noise
Oh, yeah.
on
Yeah.
these covered wagons and such. They
That-
sound like drums maybe.
I think, yeah.
We started publishing the Draft Horse Wall Calendar 40 years ago. It quickly became a holiday tradition for families to give and receive our calendars. Many tell us it wouldn't be Christmas if there wasn't a Draft Horse calendar under the tree. We've always found the best, most interesting photos showing a variety of draft horse breeds put to a wide range of tasks, from threshing oats, making hay, logging hardwood, and performing before appreciative crowds. This year is no different, and the quality hasn't changed either. They cost $16.95 each, postage paid, and prices go down as you buy more. Give us your gift list and we can send them on your behalf. Visit www.ruralheritage.com to order, or call toll-free 877-647-2452. That's ruralheritage.com or 877-647-2452.
It's a wonderful experience being out here, and I've got Bill's beside me, and John Weston's been with me since the start of it, and Odell back here. Each one of their teams come up lame, so they're hitchhiking, and I'm sure glad they're hitchhiking because they've helped me out an awful lot the last 3-4 days on this ride. And
It takes a lot of hands if everything goes right.
yes, it does. And we sat in that hailstorm the other morning waiting for the stuff to come back, and they got back, and my hands were so cold, we was just having a heck of a time, and it all got together. But the mules had got beat up by the hail so bad because they couldn't get any protection, and their ears, you could hardly touch their ears after that. But
Yep.
we got them hitched, and away we went. You ride horse every day at home?
Yeah, before the 4-H, I ride like 4 or 8 miles every day.
Okay, that's good.
Huh?
Is this your first trip with Grandpa on a wagon train?
No, he had his old wagon train.
Oh,
I went on.
so where are you from?
Over by Redfield.
Redfield? Good place to be from.
Huh?
That's a good place to be from.
Yeah.
How far back is your grandpa?
I don't know, 'cause,
Oh, you left him?
yeah, the roads get kind of tight and narrow.
Oh. Well, he's a pretty good grandpa, I know him. So what do you participate in 4-H down?
Like, ranch riding, showmanship, stuff like that.
Ranch riding and showmanship. Okay.
Yeah, more stuff, but I can't think of them right now.
All right. I have that problem too. It takes me a while to catch up sometimes.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law passed away from my first marriage, and I told his kids I'd take his dad to the cemetery in that hearse. So I did. Pulled up to the church, and it quit raining. It was beautiful. It was about a third of a mile to the cemetery, and they all followed the cemetery out, the hearse out to the cemetery, and come back for the lunch afterwards, and I got to visit with some of the aunts and uncles. And the last woman, as I got ready to come up and shook my hand and thanked me for doing that, and I looked at her and I looked at her and looked at her. And I said, "You look familiar, but I just can't put a name on your face." She says, "I'm Kathy. I used to be your wife." Hadn't seen her for 30 years. I didn't recognize her.
Good God.
And I didn't. It wasn't meant to be an insult, but it sounded like it coming from me, you know. Yeah, I couldn't really handle it.
Hi, I'm Joe Mishka of Rural Heritage Magazine. I'm on location of one of the many events we cover that celebrates our rural heritage. If you enjoy our show, check out our magazine, where you'll learn more about the people that blend the past with what works today. You can save almost 20% off the newsstand price by subscribing at ruralheritage.com or chat with us at 877-647-2452. That's toll-free 877-647-2452. You mostly only use the rope and pulley system? Mostly with bigger hitches?
Mostly with 4-ups.
Yeah.
That way we don't have as much weight on their necks that way with the evener and stuff. Especially in 5-6 day events like this. But we don't want, they get sore necks pretty fast. You got that evener hanging up there.
Strip Charlie. Step up.
So did you grow up milking cows? We'd come out here in the forest or somewhere and find a camp. And I had a buddy that knew somebody in the forest office down in Custer, and you'd get a fire permit. Back then you could get a fire permit, as long as you told them the section you was in, you get a fire permit anywhere, and you could pull off any place we could find water or something, you pull off and camp, and then had the little kids. And we rode horse up to Mount Rushmore and Hardy Peak down there. Oh, I mean, them kids just loved it.
Yeah.
Any chance we get to go do something we can do, you know, parade. We do a lot of parades at home, and we'll drive them to town, which we're 5-6 miles from town. So we'll drive them in once in a while, just drive around, and we find some kids running around town. And we like to do it around Christmas or when there's snow. Go in and drive, and everybody likes to do that. It seems like when it's cold, they'll come outside and bundle up and get on the wagon and go.
I did not raise these. I bought these.
But we took these, that front team, when they were 2-year-olds, we took them to Cheyenne. And my wife drove them then in Cheyenne, and then I did outriding. But they were really good in Cheyenne for 2-year-olds. He was so scared he said, "You guys can't." And we didn't own him then, he did. And I said, "I want to take him to Cheyenne." He said, "Okay." I'm really nervous. And I said, "Don't be." They're fine. We had a good, they were perfect out there. We had some people up from Texas who wanted to buy them. I said, "They're not mine, and they're not for sale. But when they do get there, I'm buying them."
Thanks for joining us today on Rural Heritage on RFD TV, where we borrow from yesterday to do the work of today. Be sure to join us next week when we show you part 2 of the Deadwood Wagon Train. This program is available for purchase. To order your copy, please call 319-362-3027 or visit www.ruralheritage.com. Rural Heritage is a bi-monthly magazine dedicated to draft animal farming and logging, as well as other aspects of our rich rural heritage. It is published by Mishka Press, which also offers a complete line of back-to-the-land books, DVDs, and calendars. Call or write for a catalog or subscription information, or visit our website at www.ruralheritage.com.